Good afternoon. Welcome to Zen with a Smile. Yesterday, I was talking about clarity, and speaking of clarity as if it can be achieved through stilling the mind. If it could be accomplished through the process, the rigorous discipline necessary in the Zen Raja Yoga tradition, it could be accomplished. And yet, at the same time, equanimity, which was granted to me, given to me, gifted. Certainly, never did I think of it as an achievement. And yet here I was, holding clarity, that all-elusive clarity, holding it to a different standard. Well, that can't stand, can it? And so I want to say that clarity is a gift. Just as my equanimity is a gift. So maybe I have to re-examine my own inability to see the conflict there, to see that clarity could be achieved while equanimity was gifted. Two schools, two different gifts. And I'm not saying that you can receive both gifts simultaneously, or one after another, or however they would come to you. But I'm just simply stating that I haven't been gifted with clarity, or at least clarity as I understand it. Maybe the key is in there, and trust me, I will spend some time taking a look at that. But nonetheless, I do recognize these are gifted, not achieved. And I wanted to address my embracing of remembering in lieu of seeing. And yesterday I talked about people that were influential, sages that were influential on my path, in my life. And I mentioned Adyashanti. And I just came across something that I want to read to you because it ties in with this gift I'm so grateful for of remembering. Adyashanti says, the journey of awakening is just remembering who and what we are, remembering what we've always known. Thank you, Ajahn. Yes, this remembering. I came across this quote by Ajahn very recently, after I had spent a lot of time looking at remembering, embracing memories of past, present, and future, while admitting that memories aren't the same as seeing. And as I sit here talking to you, I have no doubt, I entertain no doubt at all that there's many, many people gifted with sight. Many, many people can see. And I don't account myself amongst them. But I wonder, just as memory is open to interpretation, memory can accommodate change in perspective, change in dimension. And it only stands to reason that sight, this seeing, can unfold in different ways. We all are familiar with the saying, it's in the eye of the beholder. And yes, indeed, or in the eyes, since we have two, in the eyes of the beholder. And anybody that witnesses anything knows that others who witnessed the same event bring different vision to the table. Anyway, I'm happy with my gift of remembering. I was happy to see Ajahn talk about remembering. I started thinking, or I haven't stopped thinking, about contemplating. I like better than thinking. More reflective thinking is what contemplation is. I remember I've been reflecting on polarities. And I'll probably stick with it until I don't stick with it any longer. But another one came to mind when I was thinking about today's topic. And again, thinking is not the right word. In the period between sleep number 1 and sleep number 2, I was busy on my iPad because things were just coming to me, and I like to keep a record of them, because no matter how hard I concentrate on in the evening, in between the sleep, it usually is gone in the morning, as elusive as many of our dreams are. So I have the habit of taking this to bed with me. This is for my reading, which helps me to unwind from my day. But it's also so that I can jot down any gifts I'm giving at any point in my sleep. And what I was thinking about is horizons. The horizons. And so many things came to mind, unbidden as always, when I was thinking about horizons. Today's topic is expanding horizons. So this led me. Expansion is the nature of the universe. And here we go. Expansion, contraction. Yet another polarity. And each is equally, as all polarities are, equally so. But this horizons led me to think of some other changes that's come to me in the last 5 years. Now I'm going into uncharted territory. As far as I know, some of the things I'm talking about, at least I've never come across them in my readings. And I'd be the last to claim any originality, because everything that has been thought, said, or felt, past, present, or future, has already been thought, said, or felt, and probably many times. So, no claim to originality. Just don't remember being exposed to this kind of concept. But first, let's start about horizons. Well, the third eye, the pineal gland, is about vision. It's about, just as it says, a third eye. A third eye that can see different frequencies, different vibrations, outside the visible scale of our other two eyes. And a lot has been written about the third eye. But I also feel very strongly either surrounding the third eye, part of the third eye, or the third eye being part of it, is the violet consuming flame, which is useful in our own shredding of accumulated karma. Of course, through the grace of a guru, he can absorb much of our karma. He can dispense much of our karma without accumulating more soul debt personally. It's the skill of an adept. And it's a skill not to be taken lightly, because many of us can accept, all we have to do is open ourselves and we can accept karma from others. But the caveat, the warning here is, without deep knowledge through revelation, most of us are not equipped, don't know how to cleanly dispose, to dissolve someone's karma. We can take it in, but at great personal peril, without knowing what to do with it. But even after non-abiding and abiding awakening, just by being in this shell, we accumulate karma. And this accumulated karma, this additional karma, after you've been relieved of your karma, either through the grace of a guru, grace of a master, grace of a teacher, or it's been taken from you in the course of your own awakening. Most times, unbeknownst to you, you only notice it in retrospect when you see that your life is changing, that more good comes in your life, less sorrow, less suffering. Although you have to willingly surrender, because in these things are sorrows, is couched our self, our sense of self, that you have to fearlessly surrender, not knowing what will take its place, not knowing you're standing in the world, but nevertheless fearless surrender. But what about this daily accumulation that we get from just being in the physical realm? This is where, for me, the violet consuming flame comes in. I surrender each day karma in a brief little ceremony. Sometimes just the blink of an eye, in between breathing in and breathing out, is the surrender to the cleansing of the violet consuming flame. That's the third eye. As I speak, I feel the warmth in the third eye. Now I want to talk about some changes. And one of the changes is about peripheral vision. Mine has gotten wider and wider and wider. And it was not, I didn't notice it immediately. But it led me, this widening, it almost became 360 degrees. Literally an eye in the back of my head. And I started noticing this when I got so sensitive that when I was walking people that were approaching me got too close to me from the back. I could feel their aura, I could feel their presence. And I would step to the side and let them pass, because I'm a slow guy. I do everything slowly. Walking is amongst the most obvious. I'm walking slower than anybody that I've ever walked with. I don't remember ever having to wait for anyone in my life. And the slowness is part of what I am. Slow in the body, quick in the mind. Sometimes too quick. A lifetime of mind to tongue in a blink. Not even a blink. And words will pop out. And usually deep, insightful words, but many times cutting and debilitating to people that weren't prepared or hadn't invited me to share. So I had to learn to bring some of this physical slowness to this process of mind to tongue, where it could serve me and those around me in good stead. And a lot of this success in this came from dropping my judgment, having spent a life as a very judgmental human being, quick to judge, was replaced by another change, acceptance of what is, allowing the other to be exactly who and what he is, as well as, of course, what he or she wants to be. So this slowing down of the words still came quickly, but just bite them off before they escape. And of course, having the Blue Buddha sitting on my vocal cords, moderating, influencing every word that comes out of me, has done nothing but good in this arena as well. But we're talking about this peripheral vision that's gotten so to the point where eyes in the back of my head. I started realizing that there's a fourth eye. Right? I'm touching it now. There's a fourth eye. And with my journey into remembering in lieu of seeing, the gift of clarity instead of the gift of, the gift of equanimity, get that right, is remembering, whereas the gift of clarity is seeing. But as I experience this fourth eye, and combined with my recent understanding and embracing, remembering, understanding that this is where it sits, this is where it resides, this is where I feel like it resides. And this is where I went into uncharted territory because of this term, the fourth eye. I know I'm not capable of creating any kind of new concept. So someone out there somewhere has talked or spoken or experienced the fourth eye. And maybe they experience it in a different way. So, memories sit here. Visions sit in this pineal gland, this third eye. And visions is not to be confused with the seeing that's graced through clarity. Vision is cerebral experience, innate knowledge, wisdom, the seed of wisdom. And my practice of jhana yoga has certainly helped this to flower. So when I talk about vision, I don't mean sight. I don't mean seeing. Vision is an experience, accumulated experiences remembered through here. So there's a direct link between here and here, unsurprisingly. And along with this thinking about peripheral vision, being able, how wide can you see when looking straight ahead? And appreciating the fact that as the farther out of your periphery you go, it's more like shapes and shadows than what the physical cones and rods record from your frontal sight. Helped by glasses. Helped by glasses. Assisted with assist by the great glasses. So this connection from here and here is part of changes that I've noticed in the last 5 years since my experience of permanent awakening. And I'm looking forward to more. And there's been more changes, I know. It's just a matter of time and effort to recognize these changes. They didn't happen overnight. It's not an end game. It's not complete. It will be ongoing as my soul, my spirit, all of us spiral forward into the next expression. I look forward to that. And it's nice to know that I have a lot of company, that all of you join me on this journey. So I thought about expanding. This peripheral vision, it can relate. It can relate to horizons. My horizons have gotten grander, just as my peripheral vision. My horizons have gotten grander. And horizons, after all, is horizontal. So thinking about this horizons made me think about being a dot, being a spot in the space-time continuum. And if you were to put a axis, X and Y axis, with the point of intersection being you, you could quickly see that horizon, the horizontal, and the vertical. Now, I've talked many times of spiraling upwards and spiraling downwards. But here's this XY horizons. We're talking about the expansion, my experience of horizons. And by this I mean opportunities, realities, love, knowledge, and wisdom. Everything is expanding. Everything is expanding, and hence the horizon, one of the axes of my XY axis. And the vertical one, we understand, or we think we understand. We're always thinking about up, but I want to talk about two things. First of all, when you look at the horizon on our planet, as you get more vision, you cease to see, as in my drawing, my graph, you cease to see horizon as a flat axis. It, after all, reflects the curvature of the earth. As you expand your vision of the horizontal, you start to see the sphere. You start to see the circle. Okay? And you've seen the top half of the circle on our axis, okay? Seeing the top half of here. But trust me when I say this, that tops have bottoms. Okay? It's the nature of tops, and it's the nature of bottoms to have each other. Another polarity, strangely. Can imagine that? Go figure. Another polarity. So, horizontal. It wasn't much of a stretch till I realized, till I was gifted, till it was revealed, till I have a revolution that horizon is a circle this way. And then I said, well, vertical. This must be equally so that there's a circle this way. And vertical, just as there is a circle on the horizontal plane, there's another circle. And the nature of circles is so beautiful because a circle is perfect, right? But when a circle becomes three-dimensional, becomes a sphere, we start to appreciate that the expanding of horizons and expanding of the vertical have to be simultaneous. So the sphere that I'm encapsulated in is expanding. Not only is my horizon expanded, the vertical, the horizontal, creating circles which becomes a sphere in the three-dimensional sphere. And this sphere is growing. And within this growth, there's times when it's slower, and there's times when it's expansive, it's more rapid. And when I look at the world around me, I see this expansion taking off for all of us. That's why more and more people, each and every day, are remembering what they always have known. Their sacredness, their part of the whole, the lack of division and separation. More and more people are waking up. More and more people are sharing and loving and contributing to, participating in this expansion, spherical expansion. And what I came to see from a simple thought, if you peel a potato or an apple, I like potatoes, I like apples too, but let's peel a potato. And if you peeled it in one continuous strip, you peeled the whole potato, which is basically spherical, little lumps and stuff, but maybe an apple fits this sphere better if you could peel. And I've seen it done. I've tried to do it, but never quite gotten there. Maybe I'll keep working on that. Maybe an apple is easier to peel. Maybe I don't have the right tool. Anyway, tools are important, aren't they? Just as your mind is a tool. So if you peel this in one continuous sphere, if you peel this sphere in one continuous, non-stop piece, and you held it up, you would notice that it drops down into the spiral. So you see that we went from one-dimensional, flat horizon, flat horizontal, flat vertical, to circular, to spherical, ultimately to spiral. And it's really fitting when you think that our planet is part of the Milky Way and is on one of the spiraling arms. So we're spiraling within our galaxy, which is spiraling within other galaxies. So this immensity, this freedom is incredible, and it's a welcome advancement for one and all. I welcome every day. I say a little prayer that more people will awaken today. More people will join those who've come before them to share their experiences, to share their insights, to share their love and compassion. And I feel souls coming into the world each and every day. So we've talked about expansion, but there's another kind of expansion that came within my thoughts of horizons, and that's to go sideways, either direction, to expand sideways, and to consciously put effort. It's easy to reach up while remembering to reach down, to give hand, to give help to any that you can, to pull them up, to reach above for guidance. But what I want to say here in this last minutes of this video is that I suggest that we reach sideways as well. There's dimensions on the peripheral. There's dimensions that aren't in the scale of things here or here. They're there in infinite directions. And I'm suggesting to you that you might put a little time and effort. You might reflect on what's here in the sideways dimensions. We get so caught up with up and down that I don't think, at least I haven't previously given enough thought to sideways. And it was Stuart Wilde's suggestion that prompted me several years ago to take a look what lurks to the sides. And he planted a seed 10 years ago, and only now the seed is not only flowered, but coming to fruition, because there's so much out there. There's so much to bring in here, which would open to out there. Thank you.